Click on the subscribe button, especially the bell on the right side. Otherwise, you will miss the latest videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Saptarishis Astrology. Today's topic is why should you study astrology systematically? What are the mistakes that most students commit and how they commit suicide of their astrological career or spoil themselves so badly that they need to unlearn what they've learned. The biggest mistake people commit is they learn from digested material. Vinayakji is with me. So he comes from a very classical background of Shastra, of Vedas, Vedant, and Upanishads, everything. Vinayakji, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So we truly believe that when you teach something, it needs to be systematic, or when you learn something, it needs to be systematic. It doesn't matter whether you're joining a course or you're joining Saptarishis Astrology Beginners Course, which by the way, starting just about to start, and the demo classes are going on right now, and I do not believe you need to join a course if you have it right here. If I'll come to what mistakes people are committing, and Vinayakji also will share his experience of teaching and dealing with so many students and what mistakes they do even after so many years of being into astrology. But quickly announcing Saturdays we have 8:30 or 8:30 p.m. every Saturday. We're going to start this. Okay, course fees is roughly around 20,000 for 6 months, with an increase of content, regular increase of content as I feel the vibration of the students. That's what me and Vinayak have decided. Depending on the hard work, the content would become more and more predictive, and so would the fees. And I can say something with ego. If you want to catch it of ego or confidence or that kind of hard work I want to put in along with Vinayakji for the students, that no course on beginners course in the online market at this price can even come to 30% of the content, provided of course it depends on the students how hard working is the student. If you think you're going to just, Vinayakji, I always have seen the biggest mistake people do is they have their professional life, okay, their personal lives, etc., and all that, okay, and they are not able to juxtapose or whatever is the correct word, mix and match, mingle their work schedules, personal life schedules with Jyotish learning. Jyotish, I believe, a one liner that my very dear good friend Juliana Swanson told me while we were discussing, and she summed it up in one word, in the correct English. Jyotish is an internal sadhana. Would you agree with this or me?
Correct, sir. This is 100% true.
And people don't consider it. People do the mistake of making it a predictive sadhana. That's unfortunately the biggest mistake. I mean, and people boast about it, that it's a predictive science. Much beyond the predictive science, much beyond the makeup that you apply on your face and hide your whatever flaws in the face. The real beauty is in the inner face, inner soul of your face, inner personality. Same way, the real essence of Jyotish is it's a corrective science of karma,
Hmm.
which students don't focus on. They don't go to an astrologer with that attitude. Okay, nor do astrologers focus on it. I have not met a single astrologer, I'm sorry to say, who focuses primarily on it being a karmic correction science. Karmic. I feel afraid using that word karma alignment and all that. I feel afraid because unfortunately it has taken a different angle altogether on social media. You know, it is a corrective science, and it's not easy to correct habits, tendencies. You ask me to give up smoking or drinking or non-veg eating or driving harshly. You ask any human being to give up all his wrong habits, gossip, this, that, etc., watching movies, late nights, It's difficult for humans to change. Suddenly you ask a vegetarian to shift to Italian vegetarian food. It's difficult. Anyway, we'll come back to what mistakes people commit. The first mistake people commit is they learn from astrologers and not from rishis. Point one, if you can make a note and insert it here. Mistake one, like a slide. People learn from astrologers and not from the classical books of rishis. I will demonstrate this today in this lecture by speaking on few points of the first house in a horoscope. 99.9% of the astrologers don't know about this, and I will quote the source. Except one source, that is of Satyacharya Rishi, which was much before Parashar Rishi. I don't have the book here. It's probably in your Noida office, the Satyacharya, you know. Pe- Satyacharya Rishi used to say in the first chapter, if I remember well, okay, used to say that first house is profession, is what I remember, or new job. I'm forgetting that now. 20, 25 years ago, I read all that. Old man suffering from memory loss issues since many years. Anyway, so I'll come to all that. I'll come to the first house. This is, I mean, so important. Why? Nobody talks about it. Nobody talks. Digested authors of today, teachers of today, they don't know that Brihad Jatak and one more, Uttara Kalamrita by Kalidasa, Brihad Jatak by Varamira. These are legendary books, great books, especially Varamira. Limbs, आपके हाथ पैर, your legs and hands, you know. The limbs of one's body is to be seen by first house.
Hmm.
Is to be seen by first house. They're not saying not the other houses. Don't get me wrong. 12th house for legs, third, 11th for, you know, hands, etc. They're also saying this. Fame, defame, also from first house. Caste of a person, first house. Appearance of skin, first house. So many things are there. We'll come to that. Why I'm quickly stating this, we'll go in depth, no doubt about it. Why I'm quickly stating this is I have see the first is what is written in classics. Then you got to go to different parts of India and learn from parampara astrologers or at least visit them. For example, this cheeks, not chin, cheeks. I'm not taking Brigu Nandinadi astrology that you are teaching right now, or rather we both are teaching right now in the course. Okay, that is different. Again, different.
Yeah, but
But I'm
but this video is helpful for them also.
right. So you go to Parampara astrologer in Rajasthan. Okay, and I learned. It's there in his book also. Okay, I learned cheek, the this part, right cheek, if I remember well. Okay, right cheek would be this part. Okay, that is ninth house. I posted a technique 3, 4 years back on our Saptarishis Astrology Facebook research forum, where everybody, I said, when this and this transit happens to the ninth house or the ninth lord, something will happen to the right side of the face. People gave feedback on it. So many examples. Unfortunately, I did not say, but it's there. Whoever goes in the research group joins and goes back for the techniques that I suppose. Now, of course, we have allowed so many people to post techniques. We must stop that. I'm of the personal view earlier that only I used to post techniques. I feel it's at least more segregated and all that. So we need to tell the students how not to commit point to astrological murder of your own career. Okay. Can you hear me, Vinayak?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. I thought the internet went off.
No,
How
no.
not to commit astrological murder of your own astrological career by learning through Facebook, WhatsApp, YouTube, internet, social media. No, people are not quoting classics, and most of there's no need every time to quote a shloka. People who are there, majority is what they have learned from some offline class. Okay, where the classics were not quoted or the stress on reading classics is not there. If you take a poll, 99% of the astrologers in the world or in India might not have read more than five classics. Forget mastering them. ये मैं सीना तान के बोल सकता हूँ. With a heavy heart, I can say it with guarantee. I interact with thousands of people. I've done that in the last 3 decades or whatever, from 1990 to I've interacted with so many people. Don't forget mastering Brihad Jatak, mastering Prashna Marga itself will take 10-20 years. It's
Correct.
such a difficult thing. There are people who learn Brihad Jatak for 20-20 years. Prashna Marga is 10 to 15 years at least. They have that in the parampara in Kerala. So please do not, anybody who joins our courses, I always tell them, Vinayak, you know this. Okay, I always tell them, ignore social media for the next few months and see your astrology, how much it goes ahead. Take one book, Elements of Vedic Astrology, or Light on Life by Robert Soboda if you're a foreigner. Okay, Hard D4 and this thing. Or you can take our David Frawley's book. I'm forgetting its first name. MLBD, Motilal Banarsidass publication. These are excellent books. Excellent Elements of Vedic Astrology by Dr. K.S. Sharak. Take it, read a chapter, reread it 3 times. Or the best way, if you have time, read 2 paragraphs, again read it 3 times, making notes, marking with a sketch pen, with a highlighter, and also at the same time having a notebook. Having a notebook. Unless you do that, you'll miss out certain secrets. I was reading Bhrigu Nandi Nadi yesterday night, 2 o'clock or something, and I saw how easily techniques are given. The second house from Sun, the Rashi or the planet in the second house from Sun indicates the source of income of father. This is only part of the technique. People forget it. People forget this. For example, in the second house from my Sun, all right, there is a planet who is the nakshatra lord of the third house of communication. My father was into communication job. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Sorry, I think my internet
Yeah,
went
yeah.
off.
Yeah, I
All right.
can hear you.
Okay. So systematic learning is the biggest mistake. Most people, third mistake is most people start astrology after spending 3 years to 5 years in internet, on the internet. They're only browsing. By that time, everything has become a khichdi. I don't know what's the right English word for a khichdi. Everything has become a potpourri, like a mixture. Nothing is segregated, nothing is systematic. The thing that people need to do, okay, the thing that people need to do is very importantly make notes on 3 points in astrology, which is planet, signs, and houses. So, any book that you're reading, make notes on planets. Make your notes. If you have the ability, buy 10 books, read only planets in all the 10 books, or 5 books, or 3 books, whatever you can do, whatever your capability is. Some engineering students, when they come into astrology, they read it like this. This is how my mentor taught me. He said, if you're reading Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra, Vinayakji, of
Hmm.
Parashara, he said, buy all the books, all the commentaries, take sloka number 1, chapter number 1, read it in all what people have written, the commentaries. Translation plus comment.
Good.
Second shloka, again all the things. Lagu Parashari. That's how he told me. 70 commentaries you need to have. All the old ones, photocopied ones, everything. He has read 70 commentaries. Handwritten commentaries he has read. 40 shlokas. That book is called the Bible of Astrology, the Gita of Astrology, the very essence of astrology, which people are not able to understand. I remember meeting in Banaras, Indunath Sharma ji. I told him how people are committing. I feel, sir, I said, sir, Marak, how Marak, this is you're saying second and seventh, that he could not walk. The great astrologer who could predict what's in your mind, the number in your mind, he could predict. The flower you thought of, he could predict. I have written that in my old editorials. So he said for each shloka of Lagu Parashari in his parampara, there is 13 meanings, different meanings and usage. I said, how is it possible? He said, yes. There, Marak house, the second and seventh house. I said, sir, why not the 12th house? He said, he then quoted Lagu Parashari. He said, 12th house is there. I said, sir, because I have observed Marak Dasha, Marak period when 12th gets connected. He said, this is the shloka. He said, this is the mistake where people are committing. Wherever 12th Lord goes and sits, A, it will become either neutral, B, separative, Marak. When, where, how, that's what real astrology is.